Okay guys, what we're going to look at today are number types. Alright, so number types are split into a few different categories and many of them fall within another category. Okay, so we're going to do this with a sort of flowchart. Alright, now the first part of the flowchart, the first division, is the division into real numbers and the division into imaginary numbers. And you guys might remember that we mentioned earlier in the unit that you can't have the square root of a negative number. The square root of a negative number, for example, the square root of -2, does not have a solution. But I did mention to you that it actually does have a solution, it just doesn't have a real solution, okay? And that's why we have these imaginary numbers, okay? Now, imaginary numbers, we're not going to look at. Okay, so we're going to put a box around it. No, that's it, it's done. Okay, there's nothing else to do with imaginary numbers right now. Okay, but within real numbers, we have two number types. Okay, so we have two number types within our real numbers. We have what we call rational numbers and what we call irrational numbers. Okay, so these are the next two types of numbers. All right, now rational numbers are any number that can be written as a fraction. Okay, so rational numbers can be written as a fraction. Irrational numbers cannot be written as a fraction. I'll write these definitions further down the page, but we just want to make the flowchart first. So rational numbers are numbers that can be written as a fraction. So for example, the number 1, it can be written as a fraction. Okay, the number 6 can be written as a fraction. 23 can be written as a fraction. It can be 23 over 1. All right, -4 can be written as a fraction. It can be -8 divided by 2. It can be written as -4 over 1. These can all be written as fractions. Okay, obviously numbers like 1/3, 2/3, etc., they can also be written as fractions. And in the last lesson, you also learned that the numbers that have a recurring decimal can also be written as fractions. And that's quite a lot of numbers. Okay, the irrational numbers, they're the ones that you guys haven't learned about yet. Okay, so irrational numbers, we have actually worked with them a little bit. So one example of an irrational number is pi. Okay, pi is an irrational number. Irrational means it has a never-ending decimal. Okay, the decimal doesn't repeat. It goes on forever with an infinite number of digits. Okay, you might see reports every now and then that they've calculated the whatever billionth digit of pi. Okay, and that is that they're still trying to see if this number ever repeats. Okay, so pi is one irrational number. Okay, another example of an irrational number is the number e. Okay, you'll learn about that one later, not anytime soon. Okay, some other irrational numbers, we've actually used this unit. Okay, so some of the other irrational numbers are numbers such as the square root of 2. Okay, the square root of 5. These numbers go on forever. Okay, they don't have an end. Their decimal never ends. It never finishes with a nice even number that we can cancel out. Okay, it goes on forever. So these are our irrational numbers. Okay, and that one's, that one's going to get a box around it as well because it's finished. Okay, maybe we can make the box a bit better. We'll do that later. All right, the next thing that we have are our within our rational numbers. Okay, we can have a few different types of rational numbers. The first one are our integers. Okay, so within rational numbers we have what we call integers. Okay, so our integers, that can be -1, -2, 0, 1, 2, 3. So -1, -2, 0, 1, 4, 10, etc. Okay, these are all integers. Okay, that means basically whole numbers. Okay, inside our integers, we can also have what we call natural numbers. Okay, and these are the numbers that we can actually visualize. Okay, so can we visualize 0? Can we actually see 0? No, we can't. Okay, so 0 is not a natural number. Can we see -1? Can you have -1 cats? Can you see that? No, you can't. Okay, so it's not a natural number. So our natural numbers are basically our whole numbers that are positive. So 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Okay. All right, and these all fall within our rational numbers. Okay, basically, this is what we want to see. So we have integers, natural numbers, and they are both within the rational number category. Okay, so we're going to put a big box around this whole thing. Okay, that's our rational numbers. Our integers are a type of rational number. Okay, and they also include the natural numbers. Okay, and let me just try and fix these boxes. Our natural numbers, let's go this way. So our integers are a type of rational number. Our natural numbers are a type of integer. Okay, and this gives us our different number types. Okay, there are a few more. All right, when we get into the imaginary side, we also have complex numbers and a few other things. Within the rational numbers, we have things that are not integers. Okay, some examples would be, for example, 1/3. Okay, 2/9. These are rational numbers that are not integers. Okay, and you can see that in our integers, 0, -2, and -1 are integers that are not natural numbers. Okay, but this is basically our flowchart to explain the different types of numbers. Okay, and as I said, we'll write a little list underneath. So real numbers, everything we've worked with so far. So all numbers we have seen until now. Okay, so basically everything you guys have been working with has been a real number. Okay, imaginary numbers, are part of another number system, part of the complex number system, and we'll worry about that later. Okay, you'll do that in year 4 or 5. Okay, we have rational numbers. Actually, let's write irrational first. Okay, and you might also see this called radicals. And these are numbers that cannot be expressed as a fraction. Okay, then we have our rational numbers. Which are numbers that can be expressed as a fraction. Okay, after the rational numbers, we have our integers. Okay, and you guys have seen integers before. These are just whole numbers. Okay, and then we have our natural numbers. Which is basically, the easy way of explaining it is numbers that we can see and count. Okay, so for example, when you can see something, so 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. So this basically means positive integers. Okay, and this is our number system. Okay, so your questions today will basically be asking you to categorize certain numbers. So you need to think about whether a number falls into what category. Now remember, if you go back up to our flowchart here, all natural numbers are also integers. Okay, they are also rational numbers, and they are also real numbers. Okay, we should probably put a big box around this whole outside here. Okay, so all natural numbers are also integers, they are also rational, and they are also real. Okay, all irrational numbers are also real numbers. All integers are also rational numbers, and they are also real. Okay, so these are categories that they can fall into multiple categories. Okay, so if you take a number such as -2, you know that -2 is an integer, it is a rational number, and it is a real number. Okay, if you take the square root of 2, it is an irrational number. Okay, it is also a real number. And as I said, we won't be looking at the imaginary numbers at this point in time. Okay, it's a little bit too hard for you guys right now.